So I'm gonna I'm gonna broil some sausage in here. Normally what I like to do is I like to add probably half a cup of water in here, or probably just a little. I like to add water in here when I broil my meat, because then it won't make my meat too dry. I like them kind of moist. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for about 20 minutes, and then in between time I will flip it over, and in the meantime I can shift to do something else. So now I'm going to cook some rice, my way, my easy way. So they have a measuring cup, but I don't use a measuring cup. I just use my kids' little bowl, and normally for my family I just do one bowl. It should be enough. So I'm going to rinse the rice. Since it's only a little bit, I don't have to rinse forever. Usually I just do 2 rinse. It's up to you how clear you want your rice to be washed. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put water in there. It doesn't matter hot or cold. I'm just gonna put some water in there. Enough to about probably one finger like this, just this much in there. But I'm gonna bring it up to a flat surface. So it's flat. So I'm gonna make sure my rice is as flat as possible. I'm gonna measure about that line. 1 finger line should be good. Now if you put too much water above that finger line, then your rice is gonna be too overcooked. If you put not enough water line up to that finger line, then your rice is gonna be undercooked. So once it's done, just wipe the bottom of it, and then come and pop into the rice cooker, close it, and then I'm just gonna cook. Now I'm gonna go on to doing the next thing. Okay, now I'm gonna be doing this smoked sausage, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some spice, sauce, whatever you call it, on it, and then I'm gonna put it in the broiler for probably a good 10 minutes. Okay. I do these because my kids love them. And I'm gonna put it in a bowl. Okay, I'm gonna put a little oyster sauce. Again, I love oyster sauce. My kids love oyster sauce. You can put whatever sauce you like. Hoisin sauce, teriyaki, barbecue sauce, however you like. The amount, you just put however you like too. I just put a little dab in there. And then I use this. I think it's a Mexican spice, something like that. It makes the meat tender and very tasty. So I'm only going to use half of it. And then I put some black pepper. The portions of spice you put in there is based on how you like it. And then I'm going to use a spoon. You can use your hand if you have gloves. So I'm just going to use a spoon to mix it really good. Okay, I got it all mixed up. So now it'll be in line waiting to go there. See, having water in here makes my sausage kind of tender instead of crispy and probably dry and burned. So it'll go for another probably 10 minutes. Say maybe 7 to 10, around there. So now let's look at my rice. Ooh. So it's perfect. So I'm just gonna stir it. It's perfect. Now these little sausage are going in there, the smoked sausage. And then I'm gonna put in for probably about 7 to 10 minutes. So this is how this turns out. Well, tomato peppers, here we go. So we're gonna have some chilies, green onions and cilantros, and then Roma tomatoes. You can use any tomatoes you want. Salt, and then we'll also use MSG. It's up to you if you want to use MSG or not. Some people like MSG, some people don't. So it's really up to you. So now we're gonna move on to dicing tomatoes. So what I do is wash the tomato, the Roma tomatoes. Well, I use Roma tomato. You could use any kind of tomatoes you want. So I'm gonna cut the top off, and then I'm gonna cut them in half, and I'm gonna get all the seeds out. Okay, I got all the seeds out. You can either use a spoon to get it out, you can use a fork to get it out, or you can use your finger while wash your hand. Wash your hands, use your finger to scrape it out. After that, whether you use fork, spoon, or your finger, after that, wash the tomatoes. Now it's ready to be cut into dice. So once the tomatoes are washed, then I'm gonna start dicing. So first I cut them into strips. If you're using a sharp knife, kind of watch out for your fingers. You can take a few strips and start slicing, but otherwise, if you take a few strips like that and start slicing, the chance of squishing all your tomatoes in is higher. Otherwise, you can take one strip at a time, cut it smaller, and then dice one strip at a time. So then your tomatoes are, the chance of getting squished are less. But then doing one strip at a time is sometimes can be time consuming. And you chop to however the size you want. If you're only doing for yourself, you can just do maybe 1 or 2 tomatoes. But because I'm doing for the whole family, so I'm doing 5 tomatoes. You can make it very spicy, you can make it less spicy by putting in less amount of chili peppers or more chili peppers in there. So tomatoes are diced. So now I'm gonna slice the chili peppers. Now chili peppers, I want it kind of minced. You can put as much pepper as you want. Depends on what level of spiciness you want. So I'm gonna be careful not to hold it too low. You're gonna chop your finger. You just want to hold on one end so that you can lift it up and chop, lift it up and chop. Or sometimes I prefer doing just putting my palm on top to hold this tip in, so then I can lift the other end up and down. So I'm just gonna chop. You can rinse it because I'm doing all the things that I do here goes into the same bowl. So I'm just gonna chop one thing after another. But if you don't rinse it, then you gotta be careful, because if your finger touch the board, your finger can be spicy because you just done cutting peppers. So these are my green onion. I'm gonna give it a fine chop. And then these are my cilantro. These are just for garnishing. Some people like the smell of it. Some people put a lot in. Some people just put a little bit in. It all depends on your likes. Okay, so everything's in there. So I'm gonna put salt, and I'm gonna put MSG in there. So I'm gonna put almost, this is almost like a tablespoon, because I know the pepper is gonna be quite spicy. If you don't like it salty, then put less salt. So now I'm gonna put the MSG. I'm just gonna put, you put however much you like. So this is probably like 1 teaspoon. Okay, then I'm gonna mix it all together. And once you're done mixing, you want to taste to see if that's the taste that you like. If it needs to add more salt, you add more salt. If it's too salty, if you put on too salty, then you can add a little bit more MSG, or in that case, you have to rinse it out with a little water. I always start out with putting a small amount of salt and then stir and taste until I get my taste. And remember, these are homemade stuff, so it's just based on how you like. There's no measured ingredients. So I'm gonna taste it to see how it is. Okay, I like it. So this is done. All right, here's the dish that I prepped. So my rice is cooked, it's perfectly. The sausage that I put oyster sauce in, and the black pepper, and then the other sausage that I cooked earlier to begin with, and my tomato peppers. So and I usually put some tomato on here. Well, I hope if you try at home, I hope you enjoyed this dish too. Very easy cooking. And don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.